Welcome to the We All Juggle Knives channel. Oh yeah. This is the Entrek. Oh, it's stuck a little down there. This is the Entrek Cobra. Yes. 4 inches of 4 inches of screaming death. It is fairly sharp for this geometry, which is not really made for slicing through because it gets fairly thick. Gets fairly thick there, but for what it is, it did come with a very nice edge, a mirror polished edge. It's a clip point design. All right, the top swedge is unsharpened, about 4 inches in blade length, partial hollow grind. Very nice ergonomics. Let me retrieve the sheath. I'll be honest, the sheath is actually a bit flimsy. I like the knife. I don't like the sheath that much, just because for such a nice knife, yeah, the sheath is pretty, it's just a bit flimsy. Like you see that there. All right. Now this is what we call a stab view here on the channel. If you're new, a stab view is my type of review I do for a tactical knife. This is not really meant as a bushcraft knife, so I'm not going to do like, you know, make a feather stick and build a trap and build a shelter or anything like that. I'm also not going to baton with it. It's a fairly short knife. All right, just mainly going to give you my thoughts on the blade. All right, and you know, it wouldn't be a stab view without a little bit of stabbies. Boom. Now, people very often ask what type of fixed blade they should carry as a tactical or a defensive blade. Often when they ask that, they mean in complement to their firearm. Most of my you know, American subscribers, they might carry a handgun, and then they want something on their offside as kind of an anti-grappling, right? Anti-grappling weapon retention knife if someone is actually grabbing their gun. And they ask, you know, what type of knife should they carry for that purpose? What is the ultimate defensive knife? Well, first of all, I've found that you really can't carry anything that's much bigger than 4.5 inches in blade length. Okay, you're going to want something between like 3.5 to 4.5 inches, because it's just, to me, it's just not practical to carry and conceal conveniently anything bigger than that. Okay, now if you're out if you're a soldier or something, then yeah, you can carry something bigger. Or if you live out in the wilderness, then sure, yeah, you could carry a giant Bowie knife. But I'm talking about for everyday things. You want something about this length. This is a 4-inch blade length. In fact, if you want an all-purpose defensive fixed blade, you pretty much want something like this. That's why I got this, because it's basically the epitome of a lot of the features you would need. It's not too big, it's not too small. The piercing tip will get the job done for all piercing techniques. Has a nice belly for the slicing techniques, the close cutting. Right? It's not that good for a snap cut. Right? You're either going to slice or thrust. Has some texture there to apply pressure for the close cut. Talking about taking out tendons or whatnot. Strong full tang construction. It's fairly light. It's about 7 ounces, so it's carryable. It's fairly thick. It's not going to break. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick. Now, Entrek knives are designed by Ennis. All right, Ennis is a very prestigious knife maker, knife designer. Now, this is 440C, but there's a lot of differences because this has their special heat treatment. Okay, I'm gonna have to be a little bit harsh in the comment section because people tend to comment on Entreks when they know nothing about what an Entrek knife is. Okay, so please don't comment on the steel if you're not familiar with Ennis. You can look him up. And if you're not familiar with the heat treatment, that they give this knife, this special heat treatment that they swear by and that they explain on their website. Okay, useful comparisons. You know, the Cobra, it's about $150. I would understand if you don't want to pay that much, but remember, if you actually really need this type of knife, you probably really need it. You know, either you don't need it all or you really need it. When the chips are down, it's worth it. But all right, here's some other competitors. You got the Italian-made Profili fixed blade. That is a beast of a blade, let me tell you. Benchmade Rant Tanto. I don't think they make those anymore, but you can see these are all like 4 inches of deadly. This is a PRK police rescue knife made by Felniven. Everybody says, or everybody from that country says I pronounce Felniven funny. Well, you know, I'm an American, I'm an asshole. Sorry. Cold Steel Scimitar Spike. They don't make this anymore, but they have a new series. And here's my really cheap Martini. You know, sometimes people say, do you really need an uber tactical knife? Wouldn't like a cheap knife like this still be do an extreme amount of damage? Well, actually, yes. I mean, a knife like this, despite just being a cheap outdoorsy knife, this is my beater knife that I use. I've used it for years. But actually, yes, the tip on this and the super sharp Scandi grind, this would mess someone up completely. Although you don't want a bright orange handle in that situation. But yeah, in a pinch, I mean, you could use cheaper stuff like this. But, you know, would you use a Saturday Night Special as your handgun? Probably not. Like, even though it could do some damage, you probably want to go that extra mile if you really need a tactical blade. So, final thoughts. This is the kind of thing that many of you have been searching for. All right, this is a basically slice, thrust, and close cut blade. It's kind of the perfect intermediate length as well as weight for a carryable and concealable blade. All right, so this has been my stab view of the Entrek Cobra. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for many more. It's been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.